What kind of food do you like?
I loved a wide variety of foods.
What's your favorite food?
I'm a big fan of sweet things. I've got a bit of a sweet tooth. My all-time favorite food is cookie dough flavored ice cream. I really love the way it melts in the mouth.
I'm not really into sweet things. For me, salty foods are more satisfying than sweet foods. One thing I really love eating is nasi goreng.
Fatty food isn't really my thing. I'm not that keen on meat.
I can't stand the taste of it.
I'm not too bothered about that menu.
What is your favorite meal?
My favorite meal is breakfast.
What's your country's cuisine like? French cuisine, local cuisine, and so on?
Our local cuisine is amazing and savory. Our local dishes are known for its rich flavors, elegant presentation, and use of high-quality ingredients.
What are some typical dishes in your country? What are you fancy for dinner?
What do you want to make for dinner?
I'm not exactly sure. What about fried rice?
What is the menu for today?
I'm going to fix some veggie chopsy. Well, nothing else was in the fridge to cook, so there was no other choice. Do you have a particular way of doing it?
How do I cook it? What do I do after that? Can you tell me how to make it?
You can play chef and cooking dinner once a month.
That sounds fairly simple. I'll have to try them sometimes.
I'm afraid the meat is rotten. Break the eggs into a mixing bowl, add the castor sugar and beat until light and fluffy. Will you whisk them until smooth?
That's it? That's pretty simple.
Make sure you keep it on the gentle heating. Can you squeeze this lemon? To sweeten your lemonade, just add more sugar. Can you put the kettle on? And heat some milk. After boiling water, will you pour water into the flask? It takes an hour to simmer the sauce. Can you add some salt and stir it? If you don't stir the sauce enough, it'll be lumpy. Dice the carrots and sprinkle them on top. Heat some olive oil in a frying pan. Fry the onion until soft and beginning to caramelize. Pour the spaghetti and water into a colander. Drain them. I marinated chicken in sauce before roasted. I love chicken. I love them roasted and fried. I got a very tender piece of beef. I usually like to eat a simple salad. What do you put in it? What kind of dressing do you use? How do you want your egg? Half boil as usual. Can you scramble the egg? Do you mind it boiling? She had a light breakfast of poached eggs and a toast. Can you dissolve a stock cube in a cup of hot water? The jelly will take about 5 minutes to dissolve. Fold cake mixture with spatula. Fry the steak until browned on both sides. Deep fry the fish and leave to dry. Heat some oil in a frying pan and then add the diced onion. Grate a cup of cheese and sprinkle it on top. Should I grease the oven dish with butter or oil? Is the fish grilled under a gas grill or an electric grill? I added a sprig of parsley as a garnish to the plate. There's some pizza in the refrigerator we could heat up. Knead the dough until smooth. Could you mash the potatoes? Melt some butter in a saucepan and then add the flour. The flour is mixed with a little oil and warm water to make a dough. Mix the ingredients together. If you get some minced beef, I'll make your favorite dish for dinner. Leave the meat in a cool place to marinate overnight. I get juice all over my fingers if I peel oranges. It's important to preheat your oven before baking. I cooked the chicken on the rotisserie for an hour. Why don't we roast some vegetables as well? Roll out the puff pastry sheets on that flat surface. I stewed the beef for a few hours until it was tender. Sautéed the onions, garlic and chili sauce in a saucepan. Make sure the food's still hot when you serve it. Would you please spread the jam on the bread? Strain the rice and keep it aside. She smoked the ribs for hours until they were tender. Leave the chickpea to soak for 2 hours. I seasoned it only with freshly squeezed lemon juice. Slice the radish thinly. Why do you sprinkle so much pepper on everything? Marinated seaweed can be added to steamed rice. Add the cooled rice noodles and stir-fry until hot. If you don't stir the sauce enough, it'll be lumpy. First sterilize jars, then leave the jars to air dry. After defrosting, tenderize the meat properly. Turn the pancakes over with a spatula when they are ready. Turn the heat up to high and fry the peanuts, stirring continuously. Turn the heat down to low and simmer the soup. Whisk the egg whites till they are stiff. The taste of food can be spicy, sour, sweet, bitter, salty, savory. Some dishes are made up a combination of different taste. This dessert is so moist, it's just too sweet for my taste. I have been a vegetarian for a year, and I don't even miss a meal. If I'm too tired to cook, I just make a quick and easy one-pot meal. I have a sweet tooth. I can never say no to cakes. Tonight, I prefer a nice home-cooked meal. For our appetizers, we'd like to have onion rings and deviled eggs. She sips her tea slowly. I nibbled on some cheese. You haven't cooked the meat long enough. It's tough and really chewy. You need to keep cooking until it's tender. These vegetables are mushy, you've overcooked them. They should be fresh and crunchy. A dish like this should be rich, spicy, and a little sour. While you're cooking, don't forget to taste it and add more spices or whatever it needs. What is the texture of these foods? They can be soft, hard, chewy, tender, crunchy, and crumbly. The texture of this cake can be light, spongy, dense, or moist. If you dice a pepper, you first cut it into strips, and then cut the strips into small pieces. Remove pot from heat. It should be lightly brown on top. Add the milk slowly and stir the sauce continuously. Otherwise, it can get lumpy. Simmer it until the sauce thickens. There are hundreds of leaf vegetables that I've never heard of. A healthy diet includes lots of legumes. I think cooking can be destroys vitamins, so I eat lots of raw veggies. My mom takes citrus fruits on long voyages to make sure we get enough vitamin C. It isn't ripe yet, so wait until it turns yellow or orange. Many temperate fruits like apples are hard, but most tropical fruits are soft. My favorite tropical fruit is the durian. It tastes like heaven. They eat lots of beans, especially red kidney beans. Some mushrooms are edible, but some are so poisonous they can kill you. Different grains are used to make different kinds of bread. Before cooking beans, you'll remove seed pods. Make sure you get free-range eggs. Everyone ate offal, but I've never tried it. He likes tripe, but I think it's awful. I'll have the veal with vegetables. You can use canned tuna to make tuna salad. Why do people think caviar is so special? It's just fish eggs. It's easy to overcook salmon fillets, so be careful. Have you ever tried Malay pickled? When we were in Bali, we were lucky enough to eat a lot of shellfish. The traditional way to make stock is on the stovetop. Would you like some cottage cheese in your sandwich? We could have some crackers and cream cheese. Why did you get processed cheese instead of real cheese? Where can I find dairy foods? I'd never tried gelato before I went to Italy. I love the aromatic smell of freshly ground coffee. Good cooks always know which herbs to use. Which spices did you add to this sauce? Will you boil the vegetables or steam them? Please don't burn the meat. The lettuce was crisp and fresh. Who'd like to carve the roast chicken? Ham and bacon can be cured by salting or smoke. Blinis are usually eaten folded with sour cream or other food inside. The vegetables were raw and hard to chew. The bananas you bought were unripe. These mangoes are sweet and juicy. I like to have food with mild spices and flavors. The coffee was too bitter. Processed foods often contain high levels of sugar and salt. Rice is a staple food in many Asian countries. This dish can be made from different types of ingredients. I just want a small portion of the pie. I add 2 spoonsful of sugar. Add a dollop of cream on the cake. Take a handful of rice from the bowl. Gather all ingredients. Preheat the oven to 200 degrees. Grease and flour a 6 inches square cake pan. Cream, sugar, and butter together in a mixing bowl. Add eggs, one at a time, beating briefly after each addition. Combine flour and baking powder in a separate bowl. Use a spatula to gently stir until just combined. Pour batter into the prepared cake pan. Use a toothpick to test for doneness. Remove from the oven and cool completely. It'll need to cool completely before frosting. Remove the pan from the heat. If not, sugar continues to brown in the hot pan. Immediately whisk and work out any lumps. If yeast is expired, the bread will not rise properly. Allow to rest for 5 to 10 minutes until foaming and bubbly. Allow to rise in a warm place until doubled in size or until risen 1 inch above the loaf pans. The dough should be smooth and elastic. Punch the dough down really well to remove air bubbles. At that point, we're going to add the water to the well. Divide into 2 equal portions and lay them gently over the pans. Take the lid off and add a pint of water. Add a knob of butter. Put the lid on and bring to the boil. When boiling, lower the heat and simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. Convert the baked loaves onto a cooling rack. Brush the tops with butter. Get a baking dish. Put the potatoes in the bottom, then the aubergine, then the meat. Add another layer of aubergine on top, then pour in the white sauce. Ice cream is my favorite comfort food. It tastes great. This chocolate cake is finger-licking good. She eats like a bird. My mouth is watering. I love how flavorful this soup. They made a mouth-watering meal. I'm in a bit of a food coma after eating. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. I have run out of oil. I need to buy some more. I like to try a vegan recipe once a week. To stay healthy, eat a balanced diet. That fried chicken was so crunchy and yummy. Weekend calories don't count. A good meal a day keeps all the worries away. How much food is too much food? Chocolate and I are soulmates. How dare you go out and eat without me? My love language is food. Gelato over, guys? I never say no to extra tiramisu.